Alright, back to our old format where I sit in a chair and blabber on and screw with my hair because it's making me mad and the sun is in my face and okay, so it is bright. It's bright on a Thursday morning and I am up and ready for the day because I have to go shopping. And I have to go shopping because in 1 week we leave on a plane for Oregon. That really came up fast. And, oh God, I have something on my eye, of course. You guys, I'm a disaster all the time. So, I knew that I had lost weight and I knew that it would be different once I got the operation done. I just didn't know that every single thing, even my dresses, would just look ridiculous on me. I put on a shirt and a pair of pants that I always had liked to wear before, like when I went out with the girls last week, when we were doing Cal's nose ring and stuff. And those things, well, the shirt had always fit me, okay, and the pants were tight. So I put this on thinking it's just a comfortable outfit to wear, and, the shirt being kind of drapey, I could wear the bands underneath them. And I looked ridiculous. I looked like I had on tents, and I was like, oh, it's not an attractive thing to wear clothes that are too big for your body. So today I put this dress on, which is, really kind of flowy, and thought that'd be fine, but it just looks weird. It looks like it's just hanging off my body. And so last night I tried on jeans to see, I guess, kind of where they were at, because I don't feel like everything else has changed so much, but they looked so stupid. It's like a good 2-3 inches on either side of the waistband, and in the bottom they're like baggy, and in the legs are baggy, and I don't know what to do with this because I've been the same size for a very, very long time through pregnancies and whatnot. Okay. The purple charging cord is useless. So it's kind of messing with my mind because I think I'm a certain size, and then I put the clothes on. They look ridiculous. They fit. I'm always coughing. Everything fits, but they don't fit right. And I guess they don't because the jeans were falling off. It's hard to get your mind around it. You know what I mean? So I have to go try to find something to wear to Oregon. I mean, as long as the dresses I have a belt on, it looks okay. Like, it looks a little drapey over the belt, and that's fine. But it cinches in. No, I'm not opening that. Nope. Oh, you guys got to see Corbin's outfit today. Say hi. If I'm wearing a dress, he's wearing a dress. He absolutely insisted he's wearing this dress. See what he does with his tongue every time. All these blogs are crazy. You're so weird. Anyway, like, on and on and on. So we have to go out shopping today, and I hate shopping. Like, I know that's like against girl code, but shopping for clothes is like, no. That's why everything I own is like black and white. I'm like on a website. I'm like, okay, that's about my size. That's black and white. There we go. I don't have to match anything. I know they go with either black sandals or black slip-ons. That's what I own. I own sandals. I own like little like flat black shoes, and I own cowboy boots. That's about it. I'm not a shoe person. I'm not a clothes person. I know, look, like my hair's all done and makeup. This is not my norm. Like, I'm just not into all that stuff, and I have to get into that stuff. So, and it's been a really, really long week, and I'll go more into it on my other vlog. He just pulled my dress completely up. But I've been angry this week, and I've been angry this week because Jamie did go to the marriage counselor person. Not like, it's not for marriage counseling, it's behavioral therapy, I guess. And in previous times we've been to counseling, he's been very calm and kind of skirting over the issues, like, well, I've made some mistakes, but this time he went in and told her just everything that had happened, like, no filter, no nothing. And that was Monday, and he came home kind of deflated because she told him that she doesn't understand how I'm still with him, and that she was having a hard time feeling empathy for him, and just kind of, she wasn't mean because she's a professional, but kind of grilled him on it. And I knew all these things. It's nothing new. I mean, I experienced it, but it's been denied for so long that for a professional to look at the whole situation and be like, oh, why is she still even talking to you, was hard for me because it just made me angry. Like, I don't even know how to explain how angry I am right now. Why did it take so long? Why did I blame myself for so long? I have this tendency to be like polar. Either when a situation happens, I'm either like, you did wrong, you did wrong, you did wrong, or oh God, it's all my fault. I didn't ask for any of this. Now, I could have had different patterns of behavior, like before. I could have put my foot down before, but I didn't even understand what was happening until I understood what was happening. So anyway, the next day he went again, and at that day I was just pissed. I'm so angry, and I'm just trying to get it out, and I'm trying to do it in a healthy manner, but it came out as unleashing on him, like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just be a normal human being? Why can't you just understand people have feelings? I don't know. I'm not going to give all the details. That's rude, and, you know, if he ever wanted to, he could, but I just keep examining how in the hell this happens to people. I'm not mentally unstable or unaware, so I don't understand how something went on for so long and I didn't see it. But I guess if I talk to more and more women, you don't. You just accept certain things. You know what I mean? You just accept this is the way it is. And I guess how you're trained early on really sets you up for that. And having to constantly please him all the time in order to get, you know, it to be comfortable in my house. And I'm there right now. He's been very cold. If he wants to talk about his problems, he's just a chatterbox. And if I'm feeling something, he just completely withdraws, and he'll say little things like, oh, I just feel cold towards you. So if that's not changing, I don't know if it will. And I think he has to accept romance is not even on the table, and he can't hardly deal with that. To me, it's not even an issue. Let me go back a little bit. We've been to counseling already. We went to 2. He had been in counseling for anxiety for 7 months, and I think he bullshit the lady a whole lot, because she came out because he was telling her that he has so much anxiety when I'm upset with him, and she was convincing him I was abusive to him because of, you know, the things I said to him, like, I just wish you weren't here, like, and that was the truth. You're making life miserable for everybody. So he's walking around all high and mighty like, you need to fix yourself, Melissa, because, see, my counselor that says I have anxiety says you're the problem. And that was so frustrating to me, because I knew he wasn't, you know, representing himself accurately, because I do not engage him in conflict unless I'm fighting, you know, for my rights, I guess. Like, don't talk to me like that. And I had never done that before. I would just kind of scramble, and he would say sorry, and it was just this like loop all the time. So I didn't understand why he was even going to this counselor, but he had convinced himself that I'm the problem. And the thing about it is if I'm the problem, why is it that we had this huge, you know, we had a very stable marriage until I said, stop treating me like that. That's where all our problems started. Is one night I'm on the phone with a friend over that charity thing. The cuddle cot thing, if you know, I was on the phone after the kids were in bed, and we were kind of sorting through the details, and I'm upset. I was very upset when all that went down, because that's my son's name that was completely used for money. And he came down and was just so completely ugly while I'm on the phone, and I know she heard it. It was embarrassing. And his whole thing is, why are you on the phone and not spending time with me? And I'm like, you go to bed very early because you get up at 4 a.m. I'm on the phone about 10-ish at night with a girlfriend, just talking, because I'm not ready for bed yet. And that was a huge offense in his book, is that I didn't go to bed right when he did, that I have somebody else that I'm talking to about this problem that he doesn't want to talk to me about. I'm just supposed to ignore it. He told me he felt like parading our son with the charity was distasteful and was disrespectful of him. And that just, no, that was just no for me. That was a disgusting thing to say to me. But anyway, so he goes to that counseling, and we know it's really bad. So then we go to a different counselor, and that's the one that told me I should consider dating. And that, well, first she talked to Jamie, and Jamie, she's like, I see that you have a lot of, hurt. And he breaks down and cries. And then he does this bullshit where she says something, and I'm like, no, I disagree with that entirely. I disagree with it. And he disagreed with it too in the home, but he's like, oh, no, I agree with her, Melissa, because he felt like this counselor liked him and was going to help him. When we got home, I'm like, why did you cry so much? She's like, I felt like she saw me, and she's going to help you learn to understand how to love me the right way. And I'm like, I didn't get any of that from that. She said we needed to learn to communicate better and all that. Well, the second appointment we had, she did not want to see him. She just wanted to see me, because he had laid out some of the stuff he did. And that's when she kind of started talking to me about how unhealthy the relationship was, and how much I was not able to move freely. And she gave me this wheel thing, and she says, listen, the things he said to me are this, this, and this, and you really need to consider what you're going to do here, because if he can't change his patterns of behavior, are you willing to accept that the rest of your life, or are you going to step out and have your own life? And she was very, which I thought was a little unprofessional, very much for me getting out of this marriage and getting on with my life. She didn't think there was any possibility. And so when Jamie heard that, when I was very, very blunt with him about what she said, he didn't want to go see her again. Nope. So then I picked out another counselor, and I did so because she was a divorce specialist. She actually teaches divorce classes for the state of Georgia because that's required when you have to make a parenting plan. And I thought if we weren't going to end up in reconciliation, it would be better to find somebody that did specialize in that, because it's very important to me, at least it was at that point, I don't know, to Jamie, to be able to do the divorce thing with the kids intact, like be able to talk about things, be able to separate our finances and all that with our children having stability, and us being able to discuss that without the little minor petty things of that I didn't do this, or this, so he's going to withhold. And he pulled a lot of that shit. I remember saying I needed to get a job. He's like, well, I won't watch the kids. I mean, it was crazy. So we get in there, and she starts talking. Well, first I saw her, and then the second appointment was supposed to be just Jamie. And I asked, could I come in first to tell her about something that was concerning me, and then I'd step out because I really wanted her to address it with Jamie. And that was that he was telling too much to Kala. He was relying on her, and he was causing her a lot of anxiety. And at that point, he wasn't listening to me. He'd be like, well, I don't believe you. You're just saying that because you want me to, feel bad, and you want the kids to hate me. And I didn't address it with Kala. I addressed it with Jamie. He was telling her too much about his feelings and his thoughts and all this. And she's a kid. And I thought it was completely inappropriate. So right before we stepped into the appointment, I sat next to him. I said, I really appreciate you letting me come in. I know it's your appointment. And he says, what choice do I have? You control everything in my life, so of course you have to have your say. And I immediately started bawling right there in public because it hurt. I'm not that person. I wasn't trying to control anything. I just felt that this was important. If nothing else was more important than having her address the appropriate boundaries with him and Kala. So when she saw me crying, she pulled us both in, and he didn't like it because she's like, why is she crying? What did you say? And she's like, do you really feel that way towards her? You really said that to her? And so that was an interesting appointment, and she pretty much grilled the hell out of him at that place. And I think put him in his place, but he also felt comfortable because she's like, you guys have a really interesting dynamic. You've made it this far. Let's see what else you could do. So then we went for a third appointment, and actually for that one, I had made an appointment for Kyle first because I started to see him becoming very, very angry towards Jamie, and I was getting a little concerned that it was going to get physical because Kyle's anger was just boiling over. So he has his appointment with her, and then we go in, and she says he's a great kid, but he knows way too much. He's 18. You know what I mean? He's not a little kid. He hears what's going on, and he has opinions about it. Thank God he has opinions on how women should be treated. I'm proud of that, and I'm glad he does. And Jamie has made the decision a lot of times, even when I haven't, to engage me in front of him. And so our kids have seen it, and they have an opinion. But she tells me that she thinks my concern is very misplaced. She doesn't see any kind of conflict. He loves his dad, and he wants a relationship with him. And I'm like, I don't know where you're getting this from, because I talk to this kid on a daily basis, and you're doing this whole hearts and flowers thing. And so we have an appointment after that, and I am just so upset because Jamie starts faking it, talking about, oh, I read this book too. Like, he sucks in because he sees that she's approving of him, throws me under the bus again. I wouldn't act like this if she would just do this, and I wouldn't act like this. And she's like, well, I really hate to throw out the word abuse because I don't think this is a situation of that. And I really think, Melissa, if you would learn to calm down a little bit, maybe you wouldn't freak him out so much. And I'm like, look, I have always been calm. I've always been calm and scrambled and kissed his ass. What you're seeing is the end result of me I can't deal with it anymore. So yes, I'm crying. Yes, I'm upset. He has done horrible things to me. And well, that's in the past. No, it's not been dealt with because he's sitting here right now lying to you. He's sitting here right now being completely fake and creeping me the hell out with how calm. Oh, I'm a really calm person, and I do really well in my job. I mean, it was like seeing him put on a play. There was no point to it because all he wanted in that moment was that counselor to approve of him. And so he comes home, and then absolutely everything that I have an issue with, he's like, basically, fuck you. This counselor likes me. I got her on my side. So we get home, and I had rode home with Kyle, and he sees, I'm not happy. He's like, that was interesting. I said, yeah, well, I really feel good about your appointment that you do still want to have a relationship with your dad, and you're really missing him. And he's like, excuse me? I said, well, the counselor, did talk to us a little bit about what you had said. He's like, she got that from that appointment. He's like, what the hell was she thinking? He says, I'm so mad at Dad. Did she not address that? I'm like, well, no. She said she didn't really see you being that angry. He's like, basically, he was like, fuck her. So Jamie's all high and mighty on the way home, walks in and thinks him and Kyle are good. And he pats Kyle on the shoulder, how you son? And Kyle pushes him and tells him, don't you ever fucking talk to me again. And I was like, oh. So at that point, I'm very angry with the counselor because she thinks she's, got in on our family after spending an hour. And the exact thing that I had him in there for, that I was trying to avoid, happened the minute we walked in the door. So I texted her and I said, I don't think that we're going to work out because it did escalate. You didn't see that. I brought him in so that you could diffuse that situation, and basically you made it worse because you gave my husband more ammo to control this family. And you made him feel good about himself and good about the things he'd done, and a victim of me when it's the other way around. And if you aren't professional enough to see through the bullshit, you're not going to help our family. And so she texted me back and said she was sorry. And then I said, this is how it went down. That was the night that I told Jamie, you know what, we're just going to need to do something. And he's like, we can't afford it. Because she had told him, you guys either need to decide or you need to move out. And he says, we can't afford to move out, which is such crap. He can afford anything he wants. I said, fine, I can work. And he's like, well, who would watch the kids? I'm like, I would get a night job and you would. He's like, that's not fair. I'm like, so how's it fair that I have them all day long? And he's like, well, my job is more important. I'm like, you don't work at night. So that's just stupid. And so I told her that, like, he's not even open to me contributing to the finances. He wants me to stay in this house because it's impossible divorce. He's just trying to lock me in. So at that point, I think she kind of saw it and she gave me some resources. She texted me, you need to call these people. He should not be doing this to you. That's crap. So that was our 2 counseling, situations, and it was pointless. Marriage counseling doesn't work when there's abusive patterns because he knew how to manipulate the situation. He's over there calm, and the more calm he gets, the more upset I get because I know he's lying. And that just makes me crazy because I need help. I need somebody to freaking believe me. I even had... No. Oh boy, we got a mad baby here. I've even had friends that see Jamie, kind of interacting with me on Facebook, be like, well, marriage is such an important thing and things can change. I'm like, you do not understand what I'm saying to you. Something is wrong here. Please listen to me. That was frustrating. It was so frustrating. And finally, I had one friend that I had met through charity knitting. She laid it all out, what her experiences were. They were absolutely parallel to mine. And it just became very clear. This is not okay. Because my behavior, it didn't matter how sweet and docile I was, he would still repeat the same patterns. And it finally hit me, I don't deserve to be treated like this. Nobody does. There's nothing wrong with me going out with the girls thrift shopping, coming home to him being disappointed in me. Like, how could you dare have a life without me? Why didn't you call me the whole time you were out there? There's a lot of ridiculous stuff. But at this point now that he sees it, finally, I don't know why. I think it has a lot to do with the kids pulling away from him because they're pissed. They see what he's doing. I mean, they see me, him walk in and be like, hey, how you doing? Very calm. I may not be all up loving on him. Who would? And he's cold to me and he ignores me and he refuses to speak to me. And they see that. I don't really know how to handle it some days other than just to be cheerful and keep the thing going. But he is in this counseling and he did lay it all out. And she did tell him, dude, no. She said that she's not even... She said she doesn't feel... She was having a hard time feeling empathy for him because so many of the things that he was saying that he did to me, most human beings would know it's not right. And he said something. She's like, why would you accept a physical relationship from a woman you knew was doing it? And she had said to your face, she's doing this. I don't want to, but since you're in a pissy mood, here we go. And he told her, well, what guy wouldn't, And she says, well, I know a lot of guys that wouldn't do that to anybody. So you thinking that you have this free pass because you're male is pretty much bullshit, is what I got from it. He said it was extremely hard to go in there, and I think right now he's very, very defeated because she told him that I can forgive him and we can get along, but I may not ever feel anything romantically for him again, and I've told him that all along. I just don't. And that's hard. I mean, wouldn't you want to just snap your fingers and look across the room and feel something for this man? All I feel like is hurt and anger because there was many, 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 many years from about 2006 on, that I begged, please, just, can you consider this? Can you try this? Can you talk to me like this? Can you not do this? And we would have periods where he had this resolve, I'm going to treat you better, and then it would just go back. And, you know, and the reason I stayed is because I had kids. I mean, he wasn't beating me. I was just miserable. I mean, so what? I mean, as a Christian, you're taught your happiness really isn't the goal. Your servitude is. And that's true in so many ways. But, I mean, you get to a point where you're beat down. When I could not do a charity, and it literally doesn't take me out of my house very often at all. I drop yarn off. I would have to go maybe pick up packages from the post office. But it's still all here. He doesn't see it, but it made me so happy to do it. It was even, I mean, I did so good with Janberry, even though he inserted himself in that too and had to help me with it. He always does that to me. But Matthew's gift was mine, and I kept telling him, this makes me so happy. Like, I can't even explain that. And it pissed him off. Made him so mad, because how can you be happy with something that doesn't involve me? And I'm like, because human beings do that. Human beings do things that make them happy that have nothing to do with another human being. And so that is where it just was done, you know. And anyway, I am rambling on and on and on. I guess this will go under a marriage vlog, even though I didn't mean for this to go on and on about that. So Jamie's going to continue with the counseling. She said we needed a deadline and to decide if we wanted a divorce or not, and or to have an open marriage. And I told him I absolutely disagree with that. I don't think either one of us ought to be discussing a sexual relationship with anybody else when we don't know what we're doing, because that to me speaks to, you know, a drive being more important than respecting the other person. If he's not healthy and whole, if he's not the kind of person that's learned to respect women, he has no business even thinking about that with anyone, including me. He needs to learn how to earn that. And I don't know if the world just doesn't think like that anymore, that an intimate relationship is a privilege that you get to by becoming intimate in different ways first. And so this idea that we're entitled to just go in and having sex with whoever we want because it's a physical need, I get that it's a physical need, but you don't get to go take it from somebody. You don't get to rape people. You don't get to demand it in marriage because you've had a rough day. If you've had a rough day and your wife has been treated kindly and you have that mutual love and care for comforting each other, of course she's going to say, hey, you know, let's go take care of that. But to demand it, and so her like push to make a decision so that physical needs can be met, that's I don't think that's healthy. I hope we can see eye to eye on that, because I don't, not just for us, for the potential person we be sleeping with, that like, oh, well, you know, I'm in this clusterfuck of a marriage, but I really just need to, you know, get off, so why don't we? No, we need to be the kind of people that earn that from somebody else, that has something to invest in them, not just go sow our wild oats. I just don't agree with that. And maybe that's a morality thing, Christian thing. I am not for that particular situation. My goal right now is to learn how to communicate and live with him without conflict in any way, shape, or form. Not over discussing groceries, not over him being cold because he's had a rough day, not over the bitterness I have when he wants to talk. He's a chatterbox, and when I really need to talk about something, he's like, sorry, it's too much for me to handle. So we have a lot of issues to work through in order to get to a place where we're comfortable with each other and not run to each other and need each other, because if we're not going to meet each other's needs, we need to accept that now. We just need to accept it, and I need to learn how to be on my own. And after that, like right now, we're not really talking much, and not like I'm not speaking to you, but there's no reason to talk because I have things going on in my head that he can't help me with. He just can't help me with them. And I have friends I can talk to. I have people that are willing to listen and kind of let me sort that out, and that's what I'm going to do. It looks like I'll be on my own. I mean, I have been for forever. I just kind of tricked myself into believing that he was there for me, but only if I had provided him certain things. If I hadn't, I was left out in the cold crying. I mean, I cry all the time, but right now dealing with a lot of anger and letting it out towards Jamie and towards Australia guy, but that's gone. And I'm working on that, because while I'm not at fault, I'm not going to say I'm at fault. In any situation, I'm a contributor, and even though I can't fix a situation by changing my contribution, I can fix me, and I cannot react the same way in the future, and I can make different decisions in the future that'll be better and healthier for me. And so that's where I'm at. Even though bad things were done to me, I'm going to look at my part in the situation. Even how I reacted to the bad things that happened to me, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be a revengeful person. I don't want to be a person that needs to get back or say mean and ugly things to, you know, push back. I want to accept it with some dignity and grace and do better than I did, because I don't like how I reacted to either one of those situations. And it's time to do better and be the person I actually really want to be. So happy Thursday, guys, and I'll see you soon.